Hi friends, welcome to the Squeaky Wheel Farm. What if I told you that you could start a garden with almost no money at all? Because 30 years ago, that's exactly where I was. I didn't have any knowledge, no help, and definitely no extra money. And honestly, my first garden was a mess. I got a few things to grow, but the harvests were small, the weeds took over, and all that time and effort just didn't feel like it was worth it. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be that way. Today I want to show you how to garden when you're broke and still actually be successful. And make sure to stick with me because at the end I'm going to share with you the one thing that completely changed my garden and saved me the most time and effort. When you don't have money, you have to be strategic. Instead of trying to do everything, focus on doing a few things well. So let's get started. One of the best ways to save money right from the beginning is to start your own plants from seeds or propagation. I've got here a bunch of seeds that I saved from last year's garden or several years ago. And as long as you store these well, keep them dry, keep them out of sunlight, they're most likely going to be still good when you go to plant them. And there's still time. Around here, our last frost date is around May 10th. So I don't rush to put plants outside before then anyway. That gives you time to start seeds indoors. Now I do have a few grow lights and even a heat mat, but you don't need those things. I have started many plants on the windowsill or on top of the refrigerator for the seeds that need warmth to grow. You don't need anything fancy. A sunny window, a reused container, and a little patience can go a long way. Two of the lights that I'm using are old shop lights my husband gave me. Now let's talk about seeds, because this is where people think they need to spend a lot of money. And you don't. You can save seeds from food you already have by joining local gardening groups, looking for seed swaps, or even check with local libraries. But here's something important. If you're saving seeds, focus on heirloom varieties. Those will grow true to the parent plant. Hybrids don't always come back the same. And sometimes you'll get something really strange, like the year I saved seeds from cantaloupe. I had honeydew growing nearby, and the next year I ended up with these weird frankenmelons. They were kind of green, kind of orange, and almost pink inside. More importantly, they did not taste good. Lesson learned. If you're trying to garden on a budget, perennials might also be your best friend. These are plants that you only have to plant once, and they come back year after year. Strawberries, raspberries, asparagus, mint, lemon balm. And some of these will even multiply over time, so your garden grows without costing you more. The same goes for flowers. Marigolds, zinnias, poppies, hollyhocks. Once you start saving seeds, you may never need to buy those seeds again. And no garden is complete without a little beauty. A lot of people think flowers are extra. And honestly, they bring a lot of joy. They also attract pollinators and make all the hard work feel worth it. And here's a budget trick that many people overlook. Save bulbs and roots from gifted plants. Over the years, I've received tulips, hyacinth, and daffodils as gifts. Instead of throwing them away after they've bloomed, I planted the bulbs outside. Many of the same come back year after year, and that means one small gift can turn into years of flowers going forward. Other gift plants you may be able to save and replant include Easter lilies, amaryllis, crocuses, lilies, daylilies, gladiolas, and begonias if you save the tubers. I've also overwintered mums, so don't throw those away either. Sometimes what looks temporary can become a part of your garden permanently. So before you toss out any old potted plant, do a quick search and see if the bulb, root, or the tuber can be saved. That one free plant could become something that you enjoy for years to come. Now let's talk about fertilizer, because you don't really need to buy that either. You can use kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, eggshells, banana peels, grass clippings, leaves, even fish tank water. All of these help to build your soil. And while I've used homemade mixes with things like molasses and Epsom salts, Here's what really matters. Don't focus on feeding the plant, focus on feeding the soil. And this next part is the biggest game changer. Mulch. Mulch holds in moisture, reduces watering, suppresses weeds, and improves your soil over time. And you can get it for free. I've used grass clippings, shredded leaves, cardboard, straw, and even these free wood chips. Before I used mulch, my garden was overtaken by weeds by the middle of July. After mulch, everything changed. Less work, less watering, and way better results. If you could do one thing differently, start a compost pile. All those kitchen scraps you normally would throw away turn into rich, healthy soil. We use all the manure, old straw, everything that we get from the cows, in addition to all our kitchen scraps, go into this compost pile here. And the compost brings in earthworms and beneficial microbes that make your garden thrive. That's what turns hard dirt into something you can actually grow food in. And here's a simple trick that can save you a ton of money and effort. Use cardboard. Lay it down over the grass or weeds, water it well, and cover it with mulch or compost. It blocks weeds, holds moisture, and breaks down over time to improve your soil. Just remember to remove the tape and the staples and avoid any glossy or heavily printed cardboard. One reason people quit gardening is they plant things that take forever, and they don't see success soon enough. So if you're brand new, grow something fast, like radishes or leaf lettuce, green onions or bush beans, and a lot of herbs. Things that sprout quickly and give you encouragement. Because once you harvest even one thing that you grew yourself, it changes everything. That first success builds momentum, and momentum keeps people gardening. And before you give up, because something failed, hear this. Gardening is something you get better at. Nobody starts out knowing everything. Every season teaches you something, what works and what doesn't work, what your soil likes and what your climate likes, what pests show up, what varieties are worth growing. That knowledge builds year after year, so if something fails, it doesn't mean you're bad at gardening. It means you're learning. That said, start with the easy stuff first, because some plants really are harder to grow. Success keeps people gardening, and once you gain experience, you can branch out to the more difficult things. Gardening gives you more than food. It gives you peace. It gives you something productive to do. It gets you outside and teaches you patience. It teaches resilience. And there's a kind of pride that comes with growing something with your own hands. Even a small garden can give you that. So if money is tight and life feels stressful, gardening can feed more than just your stomach. If this helped you, I'd love to have you follow along. Just hit the like and subscribe. We're always learning out here, and sometimes the mistakes that we make teach us the most. I share both my successes and my failures with you. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one more thing. I hope to see you again soon.